To understand the reactivity or the anger that narcissists have when they get confronted about something that they did wrong or they're held accountable is to understand what is a narcissistic injury. A narcissistic injury occurs to narcissists when they are held accountable, confronted, or shown that something they did wasn't as they thought it was, hurt someone else, or was incorrect or wrong. The narcissist actually carries a great deal of shame. People wouldn't know that because the narcissist acts grandiose and entitled and they act like they're better than anyone. But really, at the core of each narcissist's personality is a very shame-based person, a person with horrible self-esteem.
They can't take criticism themselves. So you criticize them, and then they start crying like their life away. If you criticize them, and I know a particular narcissist, whenever anybody criticizes their husband or themselves or anything in their life, they react violently.
You're a fucking dog cunt!
Just because I made a video about him, and with a little funny thing at the start, you know, he's attacking me.
They react violently, and I've seen this narcissist beat people down, even in the same family, because they can't take it.
All I said to this guy was that I don't think you can lose weight eating all those calories, and that Sprite is a crap drink, and it is, right? And this started off a war.
They will start World War III if you criticize them, and they will tear everything down.
So this episode is about narcissistic injury. As you know, my videos are causing the narc severe narcissistic injury, which I've gone through in my previous videos. And to further illustrate this, I'm gonna show you what he has done since my previous video. So on my previous video I got some comments from an account called Dr. Durianrider. Here you see one, and here you can see another one. So the first thing I did was to go to his channel, and the channel was created back in 2016, and the email address that was given was the narc's email address. So I went to the video that this account had uploaded, and in the video it was a text with the same stuff that the narc is saying. And in the title and the description of the video, my girlfriend was named, and I was named, and the narc was named. And after the text in the video there was a random pornographic image. So naturally I reported it and the video was taken down. Then a little later another video was uploaded on another channel called That Vegan Couple. So at this point I wasn't sure if this was the narc or someone else. I found it a bit strange that That Vegan Couple were brought up, because last time I checked the narc and That Vegan Couple were friends. But in the back of my head I was thinking maybe they have fallen out, and sure enough, a couple of days later on the narc's Tumblr he started to bash That Vegan Couple. And the video on this channel was just some text directing to a Facebook profile. And this same profile commented on my Facebook posts and sent me private messages with the same video that was taken down from YouTube. So naturally I just reported that profile and it was taken down by Facebook. Then I went back to the comment on my video, and now the Dr. Durianrider channel was suddenly renamed to Hannah High Carb. So I went back to this channel, which now linked to another channel called High Carb Hannah. And on this High Carb Hannah channel another video was uploaded with my name and a link to a Twitter. So I went to the Twitter account and there was a post dedicated to me with a link to a porn site. And on that porn site the same video was uploaded with this random pornographic image, and my girlfriend's name was tagged. So this is how low the narc will stoop to get back at me for exposing him. Uploading random pornographic images and tagging my girlfriend's name in them. And if you don't think this is a narc, well, take a look at this comment. New Age Fitness told me that the narc had commented on one of his videos under his own account, but that he was talking about himself in third person. So I went to his video, and sure enough, Full Natty Bra is a known account of the narc. And it looks like he mistakenly commented under his own account as he's talking about himself in third person. As I showed in my previous video, the narc is using these anonymous accounts to spread his lies and also make it seem like people believe in his stories. But this is just more evidence that he's doing exactly that. But he also wants me to know that it's him. Like with the Dr. Dick Rider channel, it was pretty obvious. He made it pretty obvious that it's him. And he's doing this to try to get the reaction out of me, but he won't, because I know he's doing it to get the reaction so he can use it against me. He did this with Joe Best and also Joey Carbstrong. He got a reaction out of them, and the first thing he did was to use it against them.
And what they'll do, they'll prod you with a stick from afar, they'll do things to annoy you, and as soon as you react, they're going to use that against you. They're going to talk about it, they're going to criticize you for it.
Now what does he do when I don't react? Well, he just makes it up. He writes himself questions on his Tumblr, saying that I'm reacting. Claiming that I've said that I will beat his ass, which is a natural reaction when someone contacts your teenage sister and mom and is slandering your girlfriend, spreading lies about you. That's a pretty natural reaction, but I haven't said anything like that, so... Also notice how he's saying that I'm keeping my address private because I'm such a pussy and I'm only tough behind the keyboard. First of all, that's a projection, but he also claimed that he had my address earlier, as I showed in one of my earlier videos. He claimed that he knew my address, but he wouldn't give it out just because he knew it. And as I said, no you don't. And now he's admitting that he doesn't know my address. And then he claims, I know where he lives, but I'm not about to put his address up on the fucking internet because he's a hater. This is just, he's trying to intimidate me, and I know he doesn't know my address. He's just constantly trying to spin things around until he gets out on top. And his own words are, spin it till you win it.
Use any situation you can to spin it so you win it.
There's a saying that goes something like, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. But this isn't the only thing he's done. He's also created another account on Instagram. So I got a comment on this Instagram post again from an account called JulesSmith93. And this is the narc. As you can see, he's spreading the same lies. He also commented on this Instagram post of Hannah's. Hannah already deleted the comment, but as you can see in the notifications, here he spread the same lie. And as you can see on top here, he also commented on Hannah's father's Instagram. He also went to a photo a friend of Hannah had posted, tagged me in the comments and said the same kind of nonsense. So Hannah had to go there and tell her friend that this was the narc, and as you can see, he had already figured. After this, Hannah had to make an Instagram story with a text informing her followers that if they get a message from this Jules account, that is the narc, who is someone who is stalking and harassing her. And right after that, she received a message from one of her followers, someone she doesn't even know, telling her that she did receive a message from this account, but she didn't want to send it to her because she didn't want to upset her. It was really random. He posted it on a picture of a rose quartz crystal that I was holding up to the sun. Here you can see the photo, and here you can see the comment he left on that photo. He also went to this photo of Henya and commented this. Then he went to this photo of Josie and commented this. Josie also sent me an email telling me that he had followed her mom. Here you can see the email to the left and a screenshot of him following her mom at the right. He's also continuing to harass Josie on his Tumblr. And let me just point out once again that this is a 40-year-old man who is harassing a teenager. A teenager he sexually coerced. And that's not enough. Joey Carbstrong posted this to the Vegans Against Cyberbullying group, saying that he's using an automatic commenting software to spread slander. And then he posted a screenshot of what he had said about him. The comments he's leaving are way too specific for each person for this to be a software though. He's doing this manually, going to each and everyone's account and leaving these comments. Here's a conversation between Nicole and Hannah where Nicole said that he had left comments on her Instagram and her boyfriend's Instagram. Unfortunately, she deleted them straight away, so I can't show them to you. Here's another photo he left a comment on, and here's the comment he left on this photo. So he's really going after everyone now. As said earlier in this video, he's tearing everything down. And how do I know this is the narc? Well, he posted this video on the account. And then right afterwards he posted this video on his YouTube channel. And when you put them side by side, you can see this is the exact same video. It just has some filter on the Instagram version. So it's not very clever. It's almost like he wants us to know that it's him. It's really strange. Here's another Tumblr post where he states my full name and claims that I was triggered that he won the race. I'm not sure which race he's talking about. The only race he's been talking about lately is the one where he placed 9th. Now, 9th place is not winning the race, so I don't know why I would be triggered by that. Or triggered at all, even if he placed that first. It's just weird. In the same Tumblr, he claims that Hannah is now using Botox and lip injections. So it's no longer just breast implants. It's also Botox and lip injections. So as I said in my previous video, he's constantly, like his lies is constantly evolving. And here's a video he uploaded about New Zealand women being promiscuous. So he's doing this in this extremely passive-aggressive way, uploading videos that really has nothing to do about anything, but it's clear that this is aimed at Hannah. And as I showed in the very intro of the first unmasking part, this was mentioned, how passive-aggressive they are.
The next step is to understand how passive-aggressive covert narcissists are. And I cannot say this more, I cannot emphasize this enough.
So it's really just confirming everything in my videos. It's kind of beautiful in my opinion. But what is it that is really going on here? Why is he spreading all these lies about me, about Hannah, about Nicole, Joey Carbstrong, Henya, all these people saying all these things about them?
This is called projective identification. So if I'm the narcissist and I'm talking to you, you are not you in my perception. You are what I need you to be, or what I tell you are in my perception. You become a sock puppet, or a prop, or an emotional dildo for me to masturbate the ego with. And they force you to be what they need you to be within that world. So you're no longer a person, you become, in the George Orwell 1984 sense, an unperson. They unperson you. Your personal history, your likes, your needs, your wants, your hopes, your dreams, your vulnerabilities, your emotions, they don't mean anything because you're just a prop on the stage of my play. And so I can only see you through this kind of weird, opaque lens where there are bits of you, the real you are there, but primarily the only parts of you that I will see are those parts of you that make me look good and make me feel good and feed into how awesome I am. And if you ever infringe on my awesomeness, then I'm going to come after you and I'm going to punish you. If you infringe on my awesomeness or if you challenge me, that's called narcissistic injury. When I move to punish you and my punishment is disproportionate to your crimes, such as they were not, they were never crimes. It is not a crime to challenge another human being for acting like a dickhead. And my rage is disproportionate, my punishment is disproportionate, that's called narcissistic rage.
So now you can see what's really going on here. I challenged the narc by exposing him, which caused narcissistic injury, which then led to narcissistic rage. So instead of addressing what I'm saying in my videos, he's going after the person, going after me, spreading lies about me, and especially going after Hannah, because he knows that his words doesn't affect me, because I know how narcissism works. So I get a lot of questions asking like how I can be so calm when he does all this stuff. It's because I know why he's doing it. It's basically his own insecurity that he is projecting onto me. So when he's calling me a keyboard warrior or a beta cuck or something, I just see, oh, that's his own insecurity that he's projecting onto me, which doesn't affect me at all. He's just exposing himself further.
If you provide the narcissist in your life the control they desire, they will be more than happy to maintain a, quote, relationship with you. If you do not give the narc in your life the control they desire, expect to be the target of their rage, or if you're lucky, abandonment. I say if you're lucky because many narcs seek to destroy the ones that they cannot control.
And you'll notice that everyone he's going after has challenged him in one way or another. But you have to understand that it doesn't necessarily have to be a direct challenge. It can be a perceived challenge for him. So anyone who shows any support for my videos, that's a challenge to him. If anyone follow the people he doesn't like, then he perceives that as a challenge. And that causes narcissistic injury, which then leads to him going after that person. Starting a Patreon, which is successful and raise a lot of money, that causes narcissistic injury to him.
Emily, what does she do with all Patreon money? The bite-sized vegan girl on YouTube, because people say she looks like a heroin addict, blah, 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 blah. That look for me is someone abusing narcotics, probably opiates such as heroin. Bite-sized vegan looks like a heroin user, addict, whatever you want to call it. A bit like Emily, bite-sized vegan. She makes like $5,000 a month from donations, and I hooked her up before everyone ever knew who Emily was. She was on my website 30 bananas a day, gave her a lot of shout-outs, gave her some tips. That is hideous, man. That is fucking hideous that you would take everyone's money. Emily, bite-sized vegan. Does Emily have a heroin addiction, vegan, bite-sized vegan? She looks like she's abusing some sort of drug. And then there's another YouTuber out there who gets maybe $5,000 a month on Patreon, or I don't know how much it is now, or less, or more, or whatever. But she's they obviously have a heroin or some similar opiate addiction. Their face is extremely gone, and they're not elite level cyclists or runner fitness like myself. They have all the skin tone, the eyes, the cheeks, that sort of vibe going on. So I would say this person, in my opinion, has some sort of crack, heroin, ice addiction, that their lack of ability to do consistent video uploads despite having endless money and time and all that stuff. Bite-sized vegan gets about $5,000 or $8,000 a month or whatever to take when half the world lives on less than $2 a day, and you get paid thousands of dollars per week to sit on your ass and do nothing. What the fuck has happened to the online big community? Where are the ethics? Where's the transparency? Where's the morals in people?
Covert narcissists thrive by pretending to be something they are not. Altruistic, kind, empathetic, but all at the same time, they're in these relationships where they're hurting people and behaving pathologically narcissistic behind the scenes.
When Joey Carbstrong started his Patreon, he raised $1,000 per month in one day, and this caused narcissistic injury to the narc, which led to him hiding his own Patreon amount because he only had $100, but now it's hidden. He's also projecting a lot. I went through this in part 3, but like pretty much everything he's accusing others of is a projection. So when he goes after Joey Carbstrong and saying that he's just doing it for money and that he's scamming people with his Patreon, that's what he's doing, the narc. As I've showed already, he used the Patreon money to buy a laptop. And also this like Botox and lip injections and breast implants and all these things he's accusing others of. You have to remember, the narc is the one that is enhancing his looks with cosmetic procedures. I got this comment on my previous video saying, just out of curiosity, how come Harley shames women for having fake boobs, but it's okay for Harley to have a mouthful of fake teeth? I think this double standard needs to be addressed in a video, especially because Harley hates when people mention his fake teeth. So let's cause some more narcissistic injury.
Another one, how are your teeth so straight? Did you ever have any work done, or are you genetically gifted? How often do you look after them? I think I heard you say you don't use toothpaste. How are my teeth so white and straight? It's just genetics. I'm straight up honest with you. I've been to a dentist for over 10 years. I have no fillings, I have no caps, I've absolutely zero dental surgery, dental cosmetic surgery, whatever you want to call it.
Yes, he has. As you can see in these photos, to the left, this is before, and to the right, that's after. He has done something to his teeth, and people have called him out for it already. I mean, it's pretty obvious. So when he got called out for it, he claimed it was to correct a jaw defect from birth. It's pretty obvious that what he has done to his teeth is not fixing a jaw defect.
You will never get the truth from a narcissist. You will never know the full truth. They will only ever admit to the very bare minimum. It's only as soon as you find out a piece of information, then they'll admit to it. And then you find out another piece, then they admit to it. And then another piece, they admit to it. They will never be forthcoming about something. If they are forthcoming about something, I would say even question that, because with everything with them is that's a half truth, right? And they're never at a loss for words. So they are just so good at like tap dancing around the truth all the time. And for them, everything it's like a kernel of truth surrounded by like a big ball of a lie.
You see, so first he hadn't done anything to his teeth, but then when he got called out for it, suddenly it was a jaw defect. But that's also a lie. And the reason he lies so much about everything is because he is incredibly insecure on the inside. So that's what narcissism is. It's like an emotional shield almost to protect themselves. So they have to be perfect. They can't admit being wrong. They can't apologize, because if they apologize, it means that they've done something wrong. That's why he's never made a genuine apology to anyone. As you've seen in part 2, where he apologized to Jen Journey. It wasn't a real apology.
The person with NPD can't bear to think that there's something wrong with them. So their natural inclination, or almost a reflex, is to deny that they did something wrong and blame someone else. To really understand what's behind the anger, the rage, or the narcissistic injury is to understand the trauma that the narcissist endured as a child. See, the narcissist can't or won't talk about it because they blocked it out of their mind. But I promise you that behind every pathological narcissist is a person who experienced abuse, neglect, or deprivation as a child. The deprivation was so damaging and painful and agonizing, they had to block it from their awareness. And so when you confront the narcissist and they experience a narcissistic injury, they can't think about or reflect that they actually made a mistake, because that would bring them to understand how broken they are or how traumatized and damaged they are. So the natural reflex is to blame you. Narcissists cannot accept what is wrong with them. There's psychological damage. So when a narcissist judges someone, what they're really doing is they're projecting. In other words, they are seeing themselves in other people. See, they can't acknowledge or own their own mistakes. When a narcissist points out what's wrong with this person or that person or someone else, it gives them this false sense of superiority, this sense that they're better. Again, to remind you, narcissists have horrible self-esteem. And in order to combat or fight those deeper unconscious feelings of being inferior or unworthy, they have to find what's wrong with others in order to make themselves feel better. And as I explained a second ago, they project. And if you ever notice when a narcissist judges someone, and you know that narcissist well, they're actually talking about themselves. And it's almost always accurate.
So let me give you an example of that. John Venus. John Venus is everything that the narc is not. And he's a great resource for the vegan movement. He's destroying the stereotype that vegans can't be big and muscular. But the narc, he doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about veganism. Veganism to him is just a tool for him to exploit so he can more easily manipulate people. So when someone like John Venus comes to the scene and gets successful, then that causes narcissistic injury to the narc, because he wants to be like the biggest, greatest, most effective activist. So his response is to try to pull everyone down that is more successful.
Is John Venus full natty bra, whole grain status? Whole grain status, John Venus, he ain't natty. You can't get a physique that natty. You cannot get a physique that natty. And you notice John's eyes always go to the right or the left. Oh, I don't do steroids. You know, I definitely do like a steroid test, Durianrider, like paid for it. And hey man, you don't have to convince me. I already know what's going down. My question is to any of these fake natties, where are the people following your advice getting the results? No one's going to be a swolger unless they're taking anabolic steroids.
John Steroid Venus. Is John Venus natty? In my opinion, definitely not. John Venus natty, John Venus, I'd say is definitely not. Well, John Venus, you gotta be on the gas. That Venus guy, John, Venus John, and he claims to be natty, and it's like, man, this is just like, this ain't no natty situation. No one can get that big without taking anabolics, but nobody can get as swole as Venus without taking anabolic, exogenous, anabolic. Let me say it one more time, anabolic, exogenous fucking hormones and steroids, man. It's impossible to get otherwise. That's just how it is. These people fucking pin needles in their bum, and that's what they do. So I can see the fucking facial structure in these people, you know, just the changes and stuff like that. So it's 100% not full natty bra. Look, if I was doing steroids, I would be fucking as big as John Venus is also obviously on gas. I would be swole as a motherfucker, fucking pecs tits out here, fucking bowling ball delts like John Roy Venus, except like John Venus. If you're one of these steroid guys like Venus and stuff, if I was the steroid head of people who say I am, I'd be huge. I'd be as big as John Fraud Swolger Venus. But John, all these other fake natties, or Venus, all these overt, obvious steroid, not just users, but abusers, abusing steroids for money to get swole. I don't hate this John guy. I don't never even met him personally. I just see him doing the jump cuts and hey guys, the fake shiny money, you know, always buy this, buy that. But hey, show me the people who have your level of physique. Following your advice. Because anyone can take steroids like John Venus. John Venus on all sorts of shit. You know, when you get so obsessed about your physique like that, about muscle, you inject all sorts of shit into your body. John Venus, who's like on heaps of steroids. John Venus reckons he's natural. All those guys, man, they're just fucking frauds. They sell their protein powders and programs thinking you're gonna look like them. You're not. Unless you're taking anabolics. John Venus is natty. John Venus is more natty than this fucking plastic spot GPS fucking contraption. He's as fake natty as they get. They're up and down. They're so fake on camera. Oh, I love you guys, but in real life, I know they'd be like, it's be very, very, very hormonal. Based on what Freely's told me, which the guys she used to date, the steroid head bodybuilders. She used to say those like, just real roller coasters. But you're a fake natty, it does make you a bad person, but it's a bit of a con. And you do jump cuts, you can't even look at the fucking camera straight. You can't even do a one-take video. You can't even swear on camera like you do in real life because you're scared of creating this, breaking the illusion that you're some Mr. Perfect or whatever. But I know people who know you in real life, you're not who you say are on camera. You're not who you are to pretend to be on camera, bro. So many fucking fakes and frauds on the internet. Venus, fucking Venus dosages, not a lot. Did you train a bit, have the protein powder? And you sprout, man. It's so easy to gain muscle on steroids. It's like, you don't have to fucking do anything. You just eat and lift and you fucking grow. It's fucking so easy, man. I love this guy even more than John Venus, who's also a fake natty.
John Venus hadn't done anything to the narc, but just being young, attractive, successful, and calling himself a vegan. That's like a challenge to the narcissist.
First of all, I think this John Venus fake natty thing started because of Durianrider. He accused him of being on steroids, despite Durianrider being on steroids himself. And as many of you may already know, Durianrider is crazy. So there's nothing that really jumps out to me that John Venus is on steroids, and he does have a really impressive physique.
Here, Vegan Gains made a video about me, and for you guys who are new to the channel or haven't really heard me talk about this before, basically yes, I have never ever taken steroids before, no artificial hormones or anything like that. So after Vegan Gains made this video, Durianrider commented on the video.
Do I think John Venus is natty? Yeah, it's a tofu and lentils. He says his buddy JV is full natty bra. You know, the fake natty physique that is totally 100% impossible to get.
He's been bashing me in the past constantly for the past 6 months, calling me a fake natty salesman, that I'm not into veganism for the ethical reasons, that I'm just in here to make the money and trick people to buy my training programs or something. There are so many people saying that I'm on steroids, that there is no way that I can be natural as a vegan, and people saying that they know for a fact that it's not achievable. So this is something that I have a huge problem with. So before I go into that, let me just give a little message to Durianrider. So you believe, or you don't even believe, you know, somehow you know that I'm taking steroids. So what I propose is a bet, okay? I put 10 grand on the table, you put 10 grand on the table, and I will travel to you, to the clinic of your choice, and we'll take that whatever CR, carbon isotope, whatever test that you want me to take, and we'll see who wins the bet. If I lose, you get the money. If I win, you'll have to give me the money plus an apology. And since you drive a Lamborghini, you know, 10 grand should just be peanuts for you. So I'm really happy to take that bet. Let me know. I'll set up a contract with my attorney, and let's do this, man.
Ouch. And as we know, the narc doesn't drive a Lamborghini. That's just him trying to be someone he's not. The exact thing he's projecting onto John Venus. And of course, first the narc claimed that John backed out from the challenge, which doesn't even make sense because John made the challenge. And when people asked the narc about this, he claimed that John only did it to tap into the narc's audience. So the narc is going after John again and again and again and again. And when John challenged him, then it's John that is tapping into the narc's audience. You have to remember that John has a bigger audience than the narc. He has more subscribers now, and his videos get a lot more views too. It's between 30 and 40,000, while the narc doesn't seem to even get 10,000 for the most part. Like, even I get more views than the narc now, and my channel is tiny. And then when the narc was called out for his lies, he then went over to saying that a drug test is so easy to fake. So it was no longer that John backed out, but that it's so easy to fake the drug test and pass. And then, as we've seen so many times before, the narc went after John Venus' girlfriend, saying that he would ditch her pretty quick when he gets real big on social media, and also that he has a lot of girls on the side. Ironically, John and his girlfriend recently married. And of course he went after Vegan Gans, claiming that Vegan Gans was on steroids too. He has even claimed that I'm on steroids. So the narc is claiming over and over again that his purpose in life is to build community and to help people, but when you take a look at what he's doing, all he's doing is trying to pull everyone down.
Watch out for people who there's a very big disconnect between their actions and their words. A lot of narcissists, this is a great way to catch a narcissist really, is, you know, they'll tell you that they're so sorry for their behavior, but yet they're still doing the behavior. They'll tell you how, you know, Christian they are and how much they believe in God, but yet they're lying and cheating and stealing and embezzling and, you know, doing all kinds of anti-Christian things, right? And they keep doing these behaviors.
The narcissist who acts like they're superior than others or entitled, or for that matter, grandiose, they think they're bigger and better than they really are. It's really an overcompensation of how badly they feel, but they can't acknowledge. Really, the inverse is true. They feel much less worthy of others, and they feel more shameful about it. It's just a compensation for that part of them that is repressed, that is connected to how deeply impaired they are psychologically.
The narc uploaded a great example of this recently. Let's take a look.
I remember the days back in 2012, 2013, I was just pulling 10 grand a month from YouTube views. 10K a month. I know all the vegan YouTube crew out there. In person, I helped them get their channels going. 99.9% of them, I knew them before they had 1K subs. And I can tell it in their eyes. Most of them are not enjoying it. You see relationships struggle, someone's getting more attention from fans or whatever, or, you know, and then there's money coming in. It's like, hey, the girl or the guy's making a lot of money and their partner's making fuck all. And then there's that big income discrepancy. And money can cause massive conflict relationships. My age, I'm 40, you know? I doubt they're gonna be just kicking back in Thailand with, you know, their rich 21-year-old girlfriend or whatever, just riding their bike around. We wake up this morning, we're like, what should we do today? You know, do we go to Malaysia for durian? Do we ride up the doi? Do we go get the bikes fixed up? You know, do we go and print out some more cycling clothing? What do we do today? You know, and that's the sort of freedom that I've created in my life. But it's all about, you know, doing what you want to do in life. And if you're caught up in the greed and the money and the status and the subscribers, and I see it, man, these people are doing like copyright claims and like, you used my photo, you didn't credit, and all this
It's like, man, you are not the person you pretend to be online. It's like, love you guys. And you are not what you pretend to be. I've built this entire community, this high carb community, you know, this income thing.
Third lie is advanced degrees, or that they're an entrepreneur, or that they're very successful. Money. They will often pretend that they are more financially stable than they really are, or that at one point they had a lot of money.
And I've made $12,000 in a day before. I've made more money than I know what to do with the rest of my life. And I was flashing the cash back in 2012, just like, man, look how much money you can make on YouTube, and people, I want that lifestyle. They saw me and Freddie cruising around, and they see me and Tori cruising around, and people want that lifestyle. People are scared of hard work. I mean, my generation was scared of hard work, and this generation are really fucking scared of hard work. Most of them really fucking scared of it. It's like it's been lost, man. Someone made a video about me on YouTube, and I feel really triggered.
The narc has done everything in his power to take down all the videos I made about him. Filing privacy complaints, reporting them for bullying and harassment, and he's gotten some of my videos taken down. So I'll do an experiment with this one and not blur his face and his name. I'll still call him the narc though, so it will be easier if he gets this taken down and I have to re-upload it with blurring.
Because their biggest thing they're scared of every morning is waking up and looking in the mirror and seeing that person. They're the ones who are scared of themselves.
But one of the things that they will do is they will project what they are thinking or doing onto you.
But all these people out there who are just like worried about their image or their like eyebrows or fucking just shit that doesn't really matter. No one really gives a fuck, man. I forget about a lot of people in my life, you know?
He's forgetting about a lot of people in his life. Let's talk about Fully Raw Christina. She has been ignoring him for years and he is still talking about her. I have no idea what she did to him, but obviously she caused some severe narcissistic injury because he has been going after her for I don't know how long, since before I became vegan. What about Freely? He's been going after her for over a year now after she dumped him. Like, he doesn't even make sense.
Those who apologize first are the bravest. Those who forgive have the most courage, and those who forget are the most happy. So many people are cutting themselves up over the past, you know, it's like, why?
Narcissists are psychologically damaged individuals. I know that's a very, very strong term to use for a human being, but psychologically they suffered so much trauma as a child that their psychological development was stunted, and they never grew in a way that most people grow in order to have healthy, loving, mutual and reciprocal relationships. The narcissist can only hold it together and pretend they are greater than they think they are, because we know at the core of the narcissist is a broken, shame-based, a person with very low self-esteem, and eventually that's going to come out.
So now that we know more about narcissistic injury and narcissistic rage, we can understand why the narc went after Isol.
Well, Isol, he slammed, defamed me, slandered me again and again on YouTube. You know, quite aggressive towards my girlfriend at the time.
Right.
Freely, you know, just...
Labassiel has done repeated videos slandering and trying to defame myself and Freely, and he's slamming me, he's slamming Freely. How the fuck would you feel if someone sledges your fucking girlfriend video after video after video, leaving up comments, Freely's a slut, she deserves to get smashed, leaving those comments up, instigating those comments? What the fuck would you do? Oh, hey man, let me go and buy you a beer at your fucking karaoke club. You're a nice guy, hey mate. Fuck off, you wouldn't.
Projection, 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 projection. Isol didn't do any of these things. He criticized the narc and Freely. So let's move back in time before all the accusations he made towards Isol. As we know, he claimed that he was a pedophile, said he looked like a child rapist, and that he was a sexual predator. So let's go back and see what Isol actually said.
I am not Durianrider. Somebody like Durianrider, and this is to his credit, is open about the fact that he wants to spend time with like-minded people.
Some people will come to our festival who disagree with what we teach. Why the fuck would you come to our event? Fuck off, we don't want you to come along, and we don't want you at our event.
he said openly he only wants to spend time with like-minded athletes.
Bring a bike this year, or don't bother turning up. Don't bother turning up to Chiang Mai unless you got your bike with you. If you don't have a bike, you don't have the proper chemicals in your head. Please don't come to our event this year unless you have a bicycle.
So if you don't get through, then it's because you don't have a bike.
You need to ride a bike.
And he wants to exclude everyone who disagrees with them even about dietary choices.
Fuck the high carb, low fat thing off and just eat regular vegan food. So the people who wrote that, we just said, see you later. Bye-bye. We don't want you at our event. You know, anyone who goes against me or freely online, we don't want you. Why the fuck would you come to our event if you're against us? Why? Again. Leave us alone. Leave us alone.
He wants a narrow focus. He wants to just meet up and have a kind of party or celebration with like-minded people.
It's our fucking party, motherfuckers. If you don't like it, fuck off. Don't come. Stay away from our group.
But my stated concerns and objectives are at the opposite extreme, where I'm saying to people again and again, if veganism is for everyone, then the challenge is to work together with people whom you are profoundly alienated from. Where it's not a trivial difference of you like to ride a bicycle and I like to ride a motorcycle. You know, like everyone takes for granted that someone like me and someone like Durianrider can't work together, right? And one of the reasons is, and again, I sympathize, Durianrider doesn't want to. He doesn't want to bridge the gap. He wants a narrow category of like-minded people to come to a festival. And while I sympathize, I would point out already that that is really the opposite of activism. That is the opposite of political organization, because real political organization is all about reaching out to people who are fundamentally different from you so that we can overcome this kind of isolation, this disorganized individual activism, and at least start by asking the question of, what can we do together? Somebody asked me once, like, what I thought they were planning for the future, like what their scheme was for like where they were going to take the Thai Fruit Festival. And I said, honestly, you know what? Part of what makes them charming is that I don't think they have a plan at all.
So this is all legitimate criticism, but it opposes the narc's view of himself when Isol said that what he's doing is actually the opposite of activism, because the narc is, his view of himself is that he's the most effective. And Isol is not the only one that has criticized him for this.
He and his girlfriend believe that they are the driving force of veganism in the world. And with that, they believe that they are untouchable. And with that, they spout so much utter nonsense.
Now, Don Bauer has probably criticized the narc more than Isol. And it's not a coincidence that I put so much of Don Bauer in my videos, because the narc likes to go after easy targets, or what he believes are easy targets. He's mostly going after young people, but Don Bauer is a grown man with a child and a wife and has a family, so he's not an easy target that you can slander. You can't really say that he's a sexual predator or pedophile or whatever, because it wouldn't really work. Isol, however, appeared to be a much easier target. That's why he went after Isol. Little did he know that Isol would fight back.
Durianrider is a guy who has both claimed to be diagnosed with Crohn's disease and to be diagnosed as having been cured of Crohn's disease, that he cured it.
What diseases did you have back then?
Chronic fatigue was the main one, Crohn's disease. That all went away when I changed my diet and lifestyle.
If you've known someone with it, it is a terrifying, very serious disease. And morally speaking, to falsely claim that you have the disease or to falsely claim that you've cured the disease is just as low as to falsely claim that you have AIDS or to falsely claim that you've cured AIDS. Nobody has cured Crohn's disease. If somebody really was the first person in the world to cure the disease by eating a lot of bananas.
So tell me, what would you eat in a day?
On a typical day, it would be bananas and dates. Mm-hmm. So maybe 30 bananas, 40 bananas.
That would be a major landmark in the history of science, and there'd be new research done on it for the same reasons that if someone cured AIDS by eating bananas, it would be a huge landmark in the history of science. That is really impossible.
So someone could literally cure their Crohn's disease, like I did, and the best one for Crohn's disease, in my personal experience, for me clinically diagnosed from suffering Crohn's disease most of my life, from a child to early adulthood, is fruit.
And, you know, on one level, if you met someone like that who wasn't in a position of power or influence, you would just be happy for them. And I wish I was in a situation where I could just be happy for Durianrider. If he was a bit more of a mensch about these things, we could all just be happy for him. But he's not. He's constantly attacking other people, insulting other people.
So these fat shit cunts who say I'm wrong, they're wrong.
Causing ridiculous levels of conflict, denouncing people who could be his allies and his friends. And, you know, he makes pseudoscientific and false claims that are as damaging to veganism as, you know, faith healers claiming that they can cure cancer or cure AIDS or anything else.
Do you mind telling me about your experience with Crohn's and how you were diagnosed with that and how you got over it and everything about that? I'm going to show this directly to someone in my family who has Crohn's.
Yes.
So what would be your top 3 tips for her to overcome that?
Raw till 4 vegan.
They're making mistakes. They're saying things that are factually wrong and scientifically untrue. And that's already been pointed out to them. You know, they're not making the mistake for the first time. They're choosing to continue preaching something that I think they know to be false, or at least they know that other people have taken the time to really set out the facts and prove that it's false. There's a lot worth knowing in that article, The Ugly Truth About Durianrider. But to me, the most crucial thing I want you to feel the depth of, this is a guy who lied about having Crohn's disease, and who's lying now about being cured of his Crohn's disease. And this is a guy who responded to people honestly reporting that they were gaining weight, not losing weight, on 3,000 calories a day, etc. And he destroyed that evidence. He covered it up.
Again, this is legitimate criticism. And it's so disgusting to lie about something like this. A friend of mine actually has Crohn's disease. And she said she can't eat any bananas. And she have to be careful with fruit. If she took his, like the narc's advice, she would probably die. That's how dangerous the advice he's giving is.
Freely and Durianrider have been selling the appealing illusion for several years that you, yes you, can have the body of your dreams while eating unlimited calories. Sign up now.
So my tip would be eat unlimited calories every fucking meal. Eat till you're about to vomit. Okay? Eat till you're about to spray the fucking MacBook with your lunch, breakfast or dinner. Serious. Eat as much as you want for dinner. So eat until you spew. So when I say eat till you're about to vomit, do that. Simple as that. So you just eat as much as you want. Eat until you're done. Did you hear that? Unlimited calories. I pour the sugar on. So I'm going to measure out roughly about 150 grams of sugar there. That's it, it's close enough. So that's the sugar there on the cereal.
You don't want to flood your tissues and make them sticky, because everything in the body becomes sticky. The hemoglobin in your blood becomes sticky with sugar. The elastic fibers in your skin become sticky with sugar. The inner lining of your blood vessels become sticky with sugar. The lens of your eye becomes sticky with sugar. Not a good thing. Why?
That's how we eat. That's how you eat to be skinny.
AGE, this ages your tissue. Eating sugar as a food ages you.
Sugar is the best weight loss food. 100%. Stuff it in.
This is no joke, folks. You don't want to eat this stuff and flood your system with sugars. And you sure don't want to run the Maillard reaction on the inner lining of the capillaries of your brain. This is the membrane across which oxygen has to get to supply the brain cells with oxygen. It's really important not to run the Maillard reaction haphazardly in your body. Eating sugar as a food ages you.
Which is making you look age extremely fast. My brother, you look like you about 48 years old.
About half a pound of sugar in here. So we're going to slip that in there. Like pouring the sugar in. So pouring half a pound of sugar on top of
the around 300 to 400 grams of sugar that's already in the bananas.
And you can get similar results. So this is what 9.5 years on this high carb, vegan, unlimited calorie lifestyle looks like.
What a concept. Unlimited calories while losing weight. No footnotes, no strings attached, no caveats.
These days, I'm eating as much as I care for, eating as much as I want, unlimited calories. So there you go, there's the result.
And they're actually claiming that scientifically, your body cannot convert sugar into fat. Now, I think they both know this is not true. It would certainly be an amazing scientific discovery made by an ex-crackhead and his bimbo girlfriend.
Yeah, if you follow the instructions in our books, you're going to get similar results in time.
Long term.
You will.
It's long term.
My Raw Till 4 ebook will definitely sort you out and show you exactly how to do it. It's very, very easy. All right? And that's basically it. It works. And this is how you stay skinny.
Freely and Durianrider are overturning the accumulated scientific knowledge of centuries with their discovery and their declaration that objectively you cannot gain weight no matter how many carbs you eat. They sometimes phrase this as fresh fruit, but very often they include brown sugar, starches like pasta. They like to drink soda pop. Oh yeah, nobody ever gained weight drinking Coca-Cola, right?
And I'll give people the sugar option.
Soft drink is one of the best things for weight loss.
I don't want your fucking respect. I want you to
I want your money. I want your views. I want you to read my ebook.
But if you want the best results, fucking get a copy of my ebooks.
Frickin' out of date nonsense ebook. Oh, 30 bucks. 30 US dollars. Carb the fuck up books. $30 for an ebook.
One of the best things for weight loss, to get lean, to get 2% body fat, is soft drink, is sugar. Simple as that.
Think about that. That is the equivalent of saying the key to you losing weight lies at the bottom of this giant Costco bulk bag of peanut butter M&Ms. Go find it. It's definitely down there.
It's so easy to scam people. It's so easy to fool people, man. It's just so easy. Because people want to hear good things about their bad habits.
Like sugar being one of the best things for weight loss. Buy my $30 ebook and you can eat sugar and lose weight too. Is that the kind of scam he's talking about?
Nobody bothers refuting this form of the thesis, the strong form. And when they're pressed on it, when someone says, look, are you really claiming that I cannot gain weight if I do no exercise and eat 3,000 calories a day in the form of carbs? What are you actually claiming? Then they retreat from the strong version of the thesis to the weak version.
Does being Raw Till 4 means I can eat unlimited calories, even if that means 3,000 calories without exercising as a teen girl? How are you going to get 3,000 calories in on Raw Till 4 foods unless you have a raging appetite? You can't. It's impossible.
In the weak form, they instead claim that this is merely a subjective and psychological phenomenon. And so now the claim becomes that it's not unlimited, that it's not that you can eat as many calories as you can, but instead that it's only that you can eat as many calories as you desire. And they think they know how much you desire better than you do. In fact, they're so confident that when one person after another comes forward with a well-documented case of what they ate on the Raw Till 4 diet, whether it's unnatural, vegan, or any of these other guys who documented, okay, they ate unlimited fruit within these guidelines, following exactly the published diet, and they did gain weight. Freely and Durianrider simply go into denial, attack the person, claim that they were secretly eating hamburgers on the side, claim that they were lying, etc. So it's a self-justifying myth. So any evidence to the contrary is denied and shut down and not allowed. Nobody's allowed to admit it exists.
Yes, you can eat unlimited calories, and you have to if long term you want to get lean, fit, and healthy.
The objective side of it is a joke. This is one of the lamest diet fads in the history of, okay? I mean, there has never been any basis for the claim that a human being cannot gain weight from carbohydrates.
Because carbs make you fat. Some fat fuck called Eisel says that.
That's not actually what Eisel said. He didn't say that carbs just automatically makes you fat. He said if you overconsume carbs, it will make you fat. So the narc is misrepresenting what ISIL is saying.
If you eat enough sugar, whether it's drinking Coca-Cola or eating mangoes or bananas, your body can and will convert that sugar into fat.
If you eat enough sugar, it can and it will convert that sugar into fat. So again, this is all legitimate criticism. Next.
And they have a huge following. And as you're about to see, they like to bully other people and beat them over the head with it. Here's Erin Janis. Erin Janis is a successful vegan YouTuber. She reaches a very large audience. So she wrote on the internet, she dared to write, Freely has become one of the most embarrassing and immature activists in the movement. She was initially why I became vegan. I looked up to her so much. Now I just hope my little brother and little cousins do not come across her videos. They're disgusting in high school. The core of what Erin is saying here is, really sincere and really humble and really real. Because she's just reflecting in one sentence there. In the past tense, quote, I looked up to her so much. And I think a very obvious subtext here, part of what's going on, is that Freely regards her as competition and as unwanted competition. Anyway, here's the response from Freely. And in case you were thinking that Freely was going to put to rest this misconception that her conduct is in any way immature or embarrassing, because she could come back like a Republican in a blue suit and make a totally on-message, down-to-earth, mature response. Here's Freely's response, setting a standard for us all. This coming from the girl spamming my Facebook wall with her videos. Question mark, exclamation point. Share me Freely, share me, LOL. Just to use me for promotion. What a jealous bitch. She can't succeed on YouTube because she's lazy AF. So she hates on those who are putting in the work and who are succeeding in spreading the message. If she really gave a blank about the animals and veganism, she would drag her finger off her well-rubbed blank and pump out the vegan videos. If she really gave a blank, she would support my activism efforts as I still remain the most effective vegan activist there is. This is shocking, nevertheless, because it's so inappropriate. And, Erin's comment was obviously just a reflection. It wasn't really a statement to the world or anything. Was a sincere reflection on how she's lost respect for you, Freely, and all you've done is proven why nobody should respect you. You've made it worse. And yeah, again, the use of coarse language in this context.
Remember that video Freely made about Tana?
And you swear like a trooper.
So Freely calls out a teenager for swearing, but look at the example she's setting. So yeah, this is once again legitimate and much needed criticism. Let's move on.
They believe that they are untouchable, and with that, they spout so much utter nonsense.
This video actually takes a kind of moderate and sympathetic view of the question of whether or not Freely the Banana Girl is a fraud, whether or not she's lying to or misleading the public about her credentials. This person asks, where did you get your nutritional degree, Freely? Good question. Now, here is her answer. Whew. She couldn't just give you a direct answer, huh? You can see how many words this is already. Quote, how many fat, out-of-shape dietitians and nutritionists are out there? Question mark. A piece of paper means nothing. Period. So she did not answer the question. The question was, where did you get your degree or certificate? For someone in her position, it does seem to me significant that she dodges this question here. I disagree with her. She says a piece of paper means nothing. A piece of paper can mean a lot. It could be the certificate she claims she has. It could be an excellent program. But obviously, the fact that she refuses to talk about it makes us think it is not so legitimate. All right, so I continue the quotation here, which is really her justification for her lack of credentials and not really answering the question about what credentials she has. Quote, who in their right mind would teach students to serve a chunk of meat and carton of milk to cardiovascular patients post-op? Here's the isolated example of, well, some people tell somebody with a heart attack, to drink milk. Okay, here's another example, Freely. Some people claim that you shouldn't eat garlic because garlic contains a neurotoxin. That's Freely the Banana Girl, your claim that garlic contains a neurotoxin. No, it doesn't. And you didn't learn that in school, and you didn't learn that from a science textbook, and you also didn't learn the type of procedural attitudes to check something like that before you claim it. Now, some of your pseudoscientific claims, Freely, are cited to sources, but you never learned how to tell the difference between a good source and a bad source. You are citing a website which is both non-scientific and non-rational, which is a raw food enthusiast website that makes a completely irrational, poetic argument that people should not eat garlic because garlic is not a food. Now, the line of reasoning here is actually that a true food is something you can eat as a monomeal. The whole line of reasoning there is just farcical. There's a broader philosophical question here of what is the value of a university education, but actually, Freely the Banana Girl, you are someone who in many ways gives a chilling reminder of just how important it is to have a solid foundation, educationally speaking, in the basics. I see you citing information that is, to use a word that's already appeared here, bullshit. And I don't think you yourself, Freely, are aware of the difference between a reliable and an unreliable source when you make these arguments. And Freely mentions here the isolated problem of studies based on industry-funded propaganda. Yes, that is one problem. Yes, when the dairy industry pays for something that makes the dairy industry look good, that is a problem. I can give you another example of a problem. People who don't know what they're talking about spreading the completely unscientific notion that garlic contains a neurotoxin. Discuss. Okay? It wasn't industry propaganda that is the origin of that. The idea that human beings should not eat garlic because garlic cannot be consumed as a monomeal. I don't know. How about parsley? You ever sat down and eat nothing but parsley for a monomeal? Parsley is very good for your health. But no, it's not a monomeal. There are a lot of vegetables where if you eat too much of them, they can cause you problems. It's just ridiculous. Fundamentally stupid. And Freely, you've built your career on it. So no, I think Freely, I think a piece of paper doesn't mean nothing. I think you were asked directly where you got your piece of paper, and you have lied or at least dodged the question. But yeah, it's important to be honest and transparent. You guys like to use the word transparent and forthcoming and set the record straight. And Freely, you are not being transparent or anything else here. Now, there's something else we can philosophize about at some depth. Her claim that my credentials are my body. To quote her directly, quote, my credentials are how I look and feel, close quote. This just opens the door to a madhouse. 99% of good-looking people are not vegan. 99.9%. The world is crowded with models and actresses and singers who eat meat or who drink milk or whatever. It has just never been acceptable to say this guy knows what he's talking about because he's handsome, or this woman knows what she's talking about because she's beautiful. And finally, Freely, if your credentials are your body, well then what about the fact that your body is fake? And I do not count having fake breasts. I don't think that's a legit credential. You guys talk about this stuff yourselves. You don't think it's legit for somebody using steroids to give diet advice and so on. If your body that you claim is your credential, because you have no real credentials, if your body is what you claim gives you credence, gives you authority, then it really is a pretty profound problem that your body is fake. You know, come on, you won't eat a mango that was raised with pesticides, but you'll pay for a surgeon to put plastic inside a cavity in your chest so you can look curvier than you are. When the reality is, if you didn't have that breast augmentation, you would look scrawny, and you probably would not have those photographs published in that newspaper and wouldn't have all this attention. And really, her whole life would be different without that surgery. Freely and Durianrider do not have the credentials, whereas several other people in the game do. There are medical doctors who talk about vegan diet, health, and exercise. And I was just asking, why would you trust them? Why would you choose to trust these people instead of people who have credentials?
So I have conventional certification in nutrition, but I don't use that training at all anymore because it's so heavily funded by the meat and dairy industry that the information is just incorrect.
What certification do you have, Freely?
So I have certification in nutrition, so advanced
From where?
certification. From the Australian Institute of Fitness.
Okay.
There is real reason to regard what you say with scrutiny. And the way your body looks, or if people find you attractive, that is not enough of a credential to do what you've been doing.
So once again, this is what I consider legitimate criticism, keeping it real. And we have to remember, ISIL didn't just go after someone who was minding their own business.
She comes across like a Nazi when it comes to judging people's weights and people's lifestyle without having any evidence or any credibility to what she is saying to the person. And in that respect, it can be really damaging. When I see dangerous people giving dangerous medical advice that they have no basis, no bias, and no reason to give, other than pushing the narrative of selling your book. It's all about fucking fruit and veganism and selling your book. And do I think it's wrong to go about giving debunked health advice just because you found something that works for you and to throw it on everybody else and give them advice and bully them without knowing anything about their health or being qualified to do that? I think that's absolutely wrong. Freely, over and over again, literally goes to people who are wanting to be vegan or who are having weight issues, picks them apart, goes and finds maybe a couple pictures on an Instagram or a post of some food that they ate maybe that day, and then decides, oh, well, here's what's wrong with your diet, and this is what you need to do. Bitch, you don't know anything about their health.
And let's not forget how the narc was encouraging people to call other people out on their bullshit.
Someone has to go out and say, look, this person's doing self-destructive shit, call them out, give them a kick up the bum. You gotta fucking call it out, man. You speak up when you see people doing destructive shit. We have to call it out. And it's not calling out because we're nasty or mean, it's because we're honest and we're positive that we believe that humans can become better if we call each other out for our bullshit. I want to be called out for my bullshit.
Of course, that's just lip service. The narc has made it perfectly clear that he doesn't want to be called out, as every time he has been, he has attacked the person.
An anonymous person asks Durianrider, why does he say that mental illness is a choice? This makes him sound grossly uneducated. Do you know anything about schizophrenia? ? That is not a choice. Grow up. Durianrider replies that he was clinically diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. He then claims that he cured himself. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If this guy was my brother, if Durianrider was my younger brother, I wouldn't criticize him at all. I'd just say, hey man, I'm so happy you're off the drugs. I'm so happy you're not homeless anymore. I'm so happy you're, apparently not committed to a mental asylum. It's great that you got your life together. And that would be that. You wouldn't want to engage in a critique of someone who has this kind of background or who makes these kind of ridiculous claims. Why would anybody take this guy seriously? Why would you trust this guy with providing you with health advice, or with being the leader of a political movement, or with doing the other ridiculous and dangerous things he does, such as encouraging crowds of people to beat someone up? He labels someone an enemy. In the past, he hasn't just made violent threats against people. He's, accused people of being pedophiles. Currently, he's accusing one guy of being a rapist and a sexual predator, apparently on the basis of internet rumors.
It's ironic that ISIL spoke up against this behavior of accusing people of these things, and that the narc's response to this was to do the exact same thing to ISIL. He encouraged people to call others out and call him out for his bullshit, but when they do, he does everything he can to destroy them. And he does this deliberately, so people won't call him out.
I was scared. I was scared to speak out. I was scared that something like this, what has just happened to Aizal Mazad Abalasial, would happen to me. If I started sharing my opinion and saying publicly that I disagree with anything that Durianrider had said, whether that be online or offline, that I would be treated like this. And that is scary.
And what happened when this person spoke up? Threats of violence. You will probably get knocked out this week by someone. Haha, I will send this video to a few of the lads and hopefully you end up on World Star Hip Hop. We've been through this in part 3.
Well, if you know that somebody was clinically diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic, that's their background. As Durianrider says himself, this isn't an accusation I'm making. This is how he describes himself. Why would you put him in that position of political leadership? Why would you trust him, even with health and diet advice, let alone with making those other kinds of decisions? Anonymous questioner asks, how are all vaccines bad? I don't get a flu shot or anything like that, but some you need to get at some point, or we'll be bringing back some terrible diseases. Close quote. Durianrider is not sure if this person is serious. Durianrider says that's just as absurd as claiming that not supporting child porn means that those kids lose an income. Yeah. Apart from being crazy, apart from being actually insane, Durianrider is also stupid. I'd encourage any of you to really think about just how stupid that statement is. Question from a fan for Durianrider. How could he be diagnosed with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia at the same time? Well, Durianrider has no doubt that you can, because he has been diagnosed with both. But now we've got schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, and he claims he's diagnosed as an anorexic, and he claims he was diagnosed with Crohn's disease and magically healed himself. So he's magically healed quite a few incurable diseases, if you believe him.
Narcissists love faking mental disorders, which is weird because they have a mental disorder, a real one. But they will fake things like, oh, I suffer from ADD, I suffer from depression, I suffer from anxiety, my doctor says I need 10 hours sleep and I can't go into public places.
When I was diagnosed with Asperger's, living with Asperger's all my life and being diagnosed with it clinically in 2003.
Because they know they're pieces of shit, they know they're garbage, they know they're losers, they know they haven't amounted to anything, they hate themselves, they know others hate them. So they're trying to find these mental disorders, these things that gets people's sympathy. Especially covert narcissists, they love sympathy. They want sympathy all the time. It's fuel to them. They want people to feel sorry for them.
You don't have a job. Your whole promotion is promoting you and the things that you do and the events that you go to. And when anybody criticizes you, they're deleted, they're blocked, they're banned, and they're sent messages of violence to.
This doesn't just have implications what Durianrider says about mental illness, that he thinks people who are schizophrenic can just make themselves not schizophrenic. He thinks that people with Crohn's disease can just make themselves not have Crohn's disease anymore. He's asked here, do you think people are born gay or is it a choice they make later on in life? Like everything mental, he claims, it is all a choice in the moment. So Durianrider claims being gay is a choice. And it's a choice that can change moment to moment. It is what it is. Why would you care about this guy's opinion about anything? I mean, haven't we established enough room for doubt? Based on what several girls have written to me and told me in person, I would classify this Jack guy as a sexual predator. Why would anyone take this seriously? Maybe there's someone who could do what Durianrider is pretending to do here. Maybe there's someone who could investigate a bunch of complaints independently and come to conclusions better than the police could come to. Because that's what Durianrider is trying to do here, right? But if there's one person on Earth who should never become a police officer, it's Durianrider. He is mentally incompetent, and I don't even mean that as an insult. If there's one person who should never be a police officer in a position of authority, making decisions about life and death, dealing with violence, dealing with other drug addicts, dealing with social problems, it would be Durianrider. If there's one person who should never be a medical doctor, who should never be responsible for giving medical advice, etc., it's Durianrider. And yet this is exactly the role he is choosing for himself. And it's the role that, I don't know, maybe 100,000 vegan idiots are all too happy, are applauding. They're eager to see him play. They're eager to see him punch this guy in the face. I wish I could end this on a positive note, man. But there is nothing positive to say.
Is Harley, aka Durianrider, really the man that you want to be representing veganism in 2016? Is he really?
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
I'm not afraid of you. You know, you're not going to bully me into silence like you've done to everybody else.
If you are still blindly idolizing Durianrider like I once was, I just urge you, I really do urge you to take a good hard look at who it is you're idolizing.
What I want you to see is that if there is one lie that Harley's making that you think is a lie, then how can you treat any of his other statements as truth?